What is up, everyone? Welcome to the bi-monthly live. We're gathered here on Facebook, YouTube. I think we're even on Twitter. Twitter, my following is so dismal that we'll be lucky to even register that. Let people even see that we're even on. But I know that we have a few on YouTube as well and Facebook already. So we are going to get started talking about the five most frequently asked questions or five most important questions that have come up lately in the YouTube channel to answer your questions and try to read your mind and try to give you the answers that you're trying to ask that you don't know you maybe should be asking. So we are going to get into those five questions, but first, a couple quick stories. So what we're going to do is I'm going to just kind of give you a quick story or two about the state of the market. Um, the most common question I get asked as a realtor is how is the market? How is the market? How is the market? And I will answer that question with a question always. And that is depends on what part of the market you're talking about. Um, we are seeing as a whole, though, if we were talking about the market, we would talk about interest rates, we talk about inflation, we talk about inventory, we talk about absorption rates. But I don't really want to get into stats on this YouTube live. Or in this Facebook live. I don't want to get there. I want to talk about a couple stories and the temperature of the market. I am lucky enough to get my own barometer on the market. Um, for example, when people are calling my phone, I know because of YouTube, and I have that ability to have that stream of numbers and emails that come in. I know that there's a temperature of the market, and when those are coming in, it's warm, and when those aren't coming in for me, it's not warm. So I don't particularly care about what an interest rate does. If people are calling, meaning they're wanting to get to Boise, and they keep calling, but the news media is painting a story that we're in some recession. Great, that's great. The news tells you that, but what's the real barometer? And so those are the stories I want to talk about. Um, I have two listings on the market right now. Both are getting more attention than they've gotten in the past. As a whole, not every second or every day is a showing right now. And we're not seeing the right buyer come yet for those. But we are seeing more activity. When it comes to my leads from what I generate from my marketing efforts in my real estate business for out of state customers, probably such as you, I have a good stream of emails and phone calls coming in. I would say it's healthier than it's been in about 4 to 5 months. And so the barometer for me tells me that people as a whole, the buyers are wanting to buy again. I wrote an offer last night for actually it's been a little bit. It's been no, I'm not. I wish I was writing offers every day, selling 365 homes a year. It's been besides my own home and the home my parents. My parents are legitimate clients, but they are parents, right? It's family. It's been a couple months. It's been 2 or 3 months. I was writing the offer. We got it submitted last night, and it's been a couple months. So there was a definite pause. But in that time, I have leads coming, and right now, when I look at everyone, I tell you this my stuff not to talk about me, but to give you the barometer of the market. And so when I have people lined up, if they start here and I have a list this long, and then the closer it gets to the sell process, that list gets shorter, right? In the middle section here, my list is healthy, and it's we're a few clients. We're looking at homes every day with them and trying to figure out where the right spot is for them. So overall, if just a quick story about how is the market as a general whole. Which section are we talking about? Are we talking about luxury homes? Are we talking about starter homes? Are we talking about retirement homes? What are we talking about? As a whole, I'm not trying to divide the market up in this bit. As a whole, we are looking at just a healthy market right now. Homes that are selling the market longer, buyers are able to get into homes, maybe getting concessions. Buyers are maybe able to reduce the price. The offer we wrote last night was a full price offer. Been on the market for 4 days. When we have a house we like, I do market data on the neighborhood or on the area, and it was really well priced. It was priced at a hair under fair market value. And that is a home that people want to buy right now. People are wanting to buy deals, as you can probably relate. If it's not a deal and the market's kind of doing this interesting number, we're just going to sit and wait. We're not going to overextend ourselves right now. And so that's where we're at. By the way, how do you like the new office? This is the new office. This is the new home office. I'm out of my Eagle office. This is out here in the Middleton area, and very similar setup, but love it. I'm just loving this new office. So I had surgery a week ago, so if I move a lot and shift a lot, it's because my leg it's not comfortable. It's not. I wish I was in a chair right now, and so just kind of lounging. So I was able to do showings yesterday. I have a chauffeur, and my wife when it's that bad. So I feel like I just did my injury again, but probably a couple weeks I'll be full out driving again. But yeah, so I saw something flash across the screen. I'd love to hear where you're coming from. I'd love to hear um, what state, what city, uh, where you come from, and so I can know. And then also if you're live or if you are on a replay. Adam Hegstrom asks, do I have to be incredibly good looking as you to sell real estate? The answer is yes. I am the bare minimum good looking standard. Adam's from he's from Boise Premier Real Estate as well. So Adam, you've definitely, because you have your license, you've proven that you are at least to that minimum threshold. So thanks for letting me be the low bar on that. Um, and yeah, so tell us where you're coming from, and I'm gonna go through the 5 things. We're gonna start right now. But those, apart from those 5 things, if you have other questions, I would love to deviate from those 5 questions. Um, but let's get those, Gene. Let's get that first question up, and let's get started on the top 5 frequently asked questions for the Boise Real Estate YouTube channel in the last little bit. All right. Hopefully that's coming up. Let's go. Gina, this coming up. There we go. All right, Stargazer Shar asks, are interest rates up or are prices coming down? Are interest rates up or are prices coming down? Let's take a look at the current interest rate for the day. When we look at the current interest rates, it is important to note that every lending institution is different. But right now, my preferred lender is about a 5 with no buy downs, 5% with no buy downs, and that's about 5 and 8, 5. It depends. You obviously know that interest rates are dependent on your credit score, right? And that you're lending, how much they lend you is dependent on your income. So that's how interest rates work. So our prices coming down. So this was asked 5 minutes ago. This is a very, very common question. Prices have come down. About 50% of homes that were listed, and it's about 40% right now, are receiving price breaks. So we're seeing a lot of price breaks, and that's if they're not getting a deal. Remember, buyers are wanting to see a deal. So that is something to keep in mind about interest rates and prices right now. All right, next question. All right, Ben. Ben, we just got back from a visit to Idaho. Real nice there. Even with the huge equity we would get from selling a house in Cali, the pricing in Idaho homes that are worth buying are out of budget. The mortgage payment on a house in Idaho would be more than our current mortgage. Plus, my line of work in Idaho, I don't believe it even comes close to what I would need to survive in Idaho. Not sure how people are doing it. Okay, Ben, great question. Great point. Let's talk about this. So, even before the hype of Idaho really hit, right at the beginning of the hype, I had some California buyers, nicest people. They were from the valley in the middle, in central California, and they were showing me their home, how nice it was, how nice their yard was. They had a pool, and this is like a year and a half ago. And right as things were starting to heat up, and actually it was almost two. It was in the winter. I remember driving around in the winter, how cold it was, and not scary, but it was a snowy day, like little snow sprinkles, and it was they were saying, how they want to give at least this or bigger or better, and for them they couldn't find that, and their budget, I can't remember, I think it was $500,000, and they couldn't find that for if they're going to sell their house and move here. So that's when I first heard the question, oh, looks like we're being priced out. And then the closer you get to the city, the more that equation, the more time would go, oh, looks like we're getting priced out. Boise and Idaho used to be the place where people would move for a financial equation. But that's not the reason people are moving here anymore. Why are people moving here? If you're watching and you follow me, you probably have the same sentiment. And that is, it's not money. It's a lot of ideologies, and it's a lot of how you see the proper role of government in your life. And that is why people are moving here. So it might be a fair swap. You might even lose a little bit, but the cost of living here is so much less. We should put Gene, if you can find while I'm talking, the link to the cost of living video and put it in the comments for them to see. The cost of living video shows like my monthly utility bills, and it shows my mortgage. If your mortgage is the same in both states, but your utilities, your water, your heat, electricity, your sewer, gas, trash, cable, internet, everything. If you're saving $500 a month right there, well, that's something to speak about, right? And so people were moving here because of the price, and the price. There's some things about the price of Idaho that are still great, but you have to remember that's not the biggest driver right now. Is not price. So if we can, so for you, Ben, it's unfortunate. Hindsight's 2020. Would you go back to 2019 and buy an Idaho? Maybe yes, and then you for sure would be on the right side of the financial equation. And I would love to. There's ways to. I mean, Boise. There's Meridian. There's Eagle. There's Caldwell. There's Nampa. There's Parma. There's Emmett. There's Cuna. There's a lot of areas that you don't have to move to one certain area. There are areas where the pricing is different, and people, if you want Idaho bad enough, there's definitely a way to get here. I had a client a year ago come to town, and a couple, and they'd tell me, "Wow, this is just crazy. I have the beach here in California. I have the ski resorts. Like I want to move to Idaho because I want a better life for my kids, but um, we're being priced out. We're being priced out, and it's like, well, then Idaho might not. And at one point I did say, I think Idaho might not just be for you. If you value the beach that much, like Idaho doesn't have a beach. It's the conservative way of life. People are now, you're not necessarily paying a price, but that person was located close to LA. And so, and that's the second story. The third story that I have is, it depends on what part of California or Washington you're coming from. I have people selling like houses for 1.6 million and buying a like house for 900,000. It depends on what area you're coming from and your drive. Hopefully, if you needed to make that move, you've already made it. So it is sad, but at the same time, it's sad, but it's also, I mean, like, look at me. I was in Eagle, and I had a great home and a great lot. I had probably one of the best subdivisions in Eagle, like that's legacy subdivision, and we wanted land. And where did we end up? We ended up moving away from our ideal place, and we love it out here. We're out in Middleton. We love it. But I am not above this story. I am included in the story. We all have this balance of what is going to take from our end to make our budget work. And for us, we couldn't stay in Eagle. We saved $500,000, maybe even like $1 million by getting out further. So that was what we had to do. So I'm not immune to it. It is the way of life. It's the facts of life. And fair is not something that operates in it. Economics is supply and demand. And if the supply in Idaho is less than the demand, then prices are going to go up, and the demand is high. Why? Well, the news channels try to tell you it's because we don't know how to pronounce the word Boise, and they'll spend a 5-minute clip on your mainstream media telling you that it's Boise this, Boise that. It's because of the outdoors. Like, no, it's not. The beaches in California and the ski resorts and Disneyland, all those attractions, those are way cooler. It's not because of that. It's because of the way of life here. It's a slower pace of life. Even when I go down to Utah's a much faster pace of life, and I like visiting, but I love Idaho. All right. Yeah, type your questions in the comment section. We'll answer those as we go. Let's get to question number 3. All right, Joss, I think South Idaho wins summer and winter. 4 seasons are so important and great for kids. Let's not forget this is from the Arizona versus Idaho video. Let's not forget that Arizona is an intense drought compared to the Boise area. I strongly believe that people will eventually have to migrate from Arizona to areas where water is more abundant. Interesting. And we're seeing water issues in California right now. California has sold away their water, and people are having to turn off their water. Huge, huge issue. Living in the Phoenix area, we look forward to moving out of here. Kids are miserable during the summer, which I have heard. Which really runs from April to the first week of November. Man, can you imagine? No thanks. April in Phoenix is nice. Normal summer elsewhere. I'll take a week or two of 100-degree weather in Boise over months of it. At very least, you get relief in the evenings, unlike here. Great video. We can't wait. Question: what would you say is the best month to make the move? We plan to rent for a year while we get to know the areas more. Josh, great questions. I think there's actually 2 questions in there. When is the right time to move, and renting or buying. you obviously know that I'm a strong advocate for buying. There are so loan originations do not have to be so expensive. I have a buyer who just actually bought my house. They were from the Portland area, and they were my buyer before they saw my house. We were looking at homes, and my house popped on the market, and they bought it. They they had to break their lease. They came here to rent for a month, excuse me, a year. Um, there are they had it's like $8,000 break their lease fee, and they paid it, and for them it was worth it. And so you've got to so like for them, had they not like they wanted to rent and they just wanted to enjoy Idaho, but ended up they wanted to move and they wanted to get in the house they wanted to get in because they wanted to put down their roots. Um, I am a strong believer that you will grow where you're planted, and I do think that's the case. Renting is 100% interest rate. You talk about the pros and cons are mortgages cost money to get into. Interest interest rates for rent are 100%. So it's the upfront cost versus the long term bleed. And one of my preferred lenders right now is giving you a $650 credit for an appraisal. They'll pay for your appraisal, and the origination fees are close to $1,000. And so yeah, essentially gives you about a $400 origination fee with them, and then you have all your standard, prepaid taxes and stuff like that. But their rates are fantastic. The rates are usually a hair under ICCUs, and ICCU is our local credit union who has some of the best rates because they do so much volume. My lender has better rates because they are a wholesale distributor of loans, and so they cut out a middleman, so they have better rates. And I've got another lender, another great guy. I don't talk about him as much. Some people do go there as well. He has good rates. I'd say they're right in line with a lot of where the middle line of where the average rates are, but he has an incredible ability to educate and to he has a couple products that my other lender doesn't. So depending on your situation, I send you to one or two places, or ICCU if you some people just like credit unions. So, and your other part of the question, Joss, was when is the best time to move? And that was your main part of the question. I kind of went off on a tangent, selfish tangent. I wanted to talk about, renting versus buying, but when is the best month to make a move? Um, there's a lot to unpack there. I'm not sure if you're asking when's the best time to be out in the sun or the cold moving? When are the interest rates the best? Or when is inventory compared to ratios of buyers the best? Statistically, the best time to put your home up for the market is not in March and April. Excuse, not in January or February, and not in August. However, when we saw this post pandemic, we're seeing a lot of different trends start and finish, and we've seen some trends continue. And so it really depends on the year right now. If this was on for 13, 14 years straight, we saw the same months, the same cycles, and we've seen a little bit of a breakup. The best time to make a move, and if you watch the last live from 2 weeks ago, is if you're buying and selling in the same market, that's when you want to make your move. So if you sell your house, you're betting on the market. If you sell your house before you buy, you're betting on the market. One way or the other, you're going to win or you're going to lose. You're going to win at least $1 or lose at least $1. You're not going to stay the same. Though it's impossible. And if you want to, you could argue that. I could argue that till the cows come home. It is impossible to be in the same. But if you buy and sell same day, then you are buying that home in the same market, and you're selling in the same market. So therefore, you should be pretty evened out. And so I would say the best time to make a move is when it makes sense for you. When you find that home, that's the right price, it's the right deal, it's the right time in the market, it's the right interest rate, it's the right home, it's the right neighborhood. That's when it's the right time. It really is home dependent because you want the right home and the right payment. If you have the two things, you never have to move. I'm hopeful that's what it is here for us: right home, right payment. Because it doesn't matter what's built next door, it doesn't matter what interest rates are, it doesn't matter anything, because we are comfortable where we're at. So best month to move to me is when your home, your area, your neighborhood, your buy sell makes sense for you financially. Such a broad answer, but I truly believe that. I don't think you can say, "Oh, it's May. May's the best." So would that mean you're just going to discount anything that comes on the market until May because your realtor, your friendly YouTube realtor who holds a live twice a month said that's the best time is May. So you didn't want that dream home in February. You just want it only in May, right? I would pay close attention to that market and keep tabs on it. And Josh, I don't think I've seen an email from you come through. If you are trying to time that, or I'd love to get to know your story and see what you're doing. I would I think you can get an idea of where you want to be in the valley, honestly, in a couple days of driving. I have many clients come for more than 4 or 5 days, and the first couple days they are on their own and they are checking out the areas, and I give them places to go to. Plus, they have areas they want to go to as well, and you can really get a good feel. You really get a good feel, and if you end up in the wrong spot, guess what? A home is not a permanent decision. It can be a 2 month decision, although that'd be stupid. But 2 to 10 years usually is kind of the going game. Let's go to question number 4. And while you go to question number 4, I'm going to read from Who's There. For us Californians who are looking to escape California to Idaho, it will be a lot harder now if there will be no gasoline in California by 2035. It is all by design for sure. It is 102 degrees in San Joaquin Valley. It was 109 yesterday and 99 degrees at 9 p.m. Oh my gosh, 99 at 9 p.m. That is crazy. We actually have a heat coming in today. I think we're going to be, I'll check my phone here. We're going to be at 100 something, 101 today. And after that, we're 100 tomorrow. And then we're 87, 84, 87. We've had a few weather questions. This has been a hot summer. We were talking about this last night at the barbecue we had with some friends and family last night. It's been a hot summer. We've had multiple weeks over 100 degrees. I would not say that's the norm. That's like having multiple weeks where we're below, where we get a lot of snow. That's not the norm either. We're usually in this mild pocket. And I've talked about it in a lot of other places. Boise, to put it simply, Boise is a unique little pocket that weather is usually great. So thanks for the comments there from the San Joaquin Valley. Let's get the 4th question up there. What about hey, we have another weather question. What about the winds in the Boise area? I've heard they are brutal. What does that mean? How many miles per hour and how often? Okay. So Exploring Greater Idaho wrote a comment, but my comment on there, I want to go deeper into my comment right there because I really don't know where Sunny Cal Dreamer is. That's funny. Sunny Cal Dreamer is coming from. Maybe you're partly cloudy Idaho Dreamer. The wind is not the wind's not bad in Boise. They're just like any city. We'll have, when we drop to 80 something degrees here in a second, we're going to see in a couple of days, we're going to see some winds come and pressure changes with temperature changes for sure. A lot of Californians talk about November when it's the Santa Ana winds, right? And I'm going to put this up a little bit. With the Santa Ana winds or different winds that happen. Ours is, my light just went out. There we go. Ours is just basically based on the weather. I mean, there's a few days where it's windy. I mean, when you plant a new tree, I've had one tree uproot a little bit. Not a huge deal because it was a young sapling. But I've never had any glass break. I've seen tramps, end over end, the ones that are light and weak and not that heavy and kind of a cheaply made. But that's just like a normal windstorm, right? Like it's like the one or two that come a year and it lasts 2 or 3 hours and you're done. And the tramp thing, I think I've seen that once in my life, maybe. I don't even know if I saw it. I didn't go see it going in over, and I just saw it, the end result of it. I tell this story. I was going to tell a story before this question came up, but I tell this story a lot. When we were traveling home from Eastern Idaho, which is Island Park, which is the city right outside of Yellowstone, West Yellowstone, we were coming home, and we have a new van since, but our old van had this flap. If you go over 65 miles an hour, it'd go, and this flap was so annoying. So it made this flap, and the wind was so bad, and it was flapping the whole time because it wouldn't do it at 65 miles an hour. It did it with some wind. And so that flap was happening the whole way until about 20 minutes outside of Boise. The wind stopped and so did that flap. And we could then go to the speed limit. It took us like an extra hour and a half to get home. It was so annoying. And but that is, Eastern Idaho is known for its winds. Southern Idaho is not as bad, but still got it. And it's got colder winters as well. Super cold winters. North Idaho as well. But the wind is Eastern Idaho especially. Boise Valley with wind. I'll fight you to the death on this. I've lived in Eastern Idaho, vacation in Northern Idaho, lived in Boise for all but a few years of my 37 years. And Boise's weather is in a pocket. It's more mild. It's more north than Salt Lake, but it's not as cold. It's more north than Salt Lake. It's about the same summer. It's got some long hours in the summer to get some good warmth. The snow is not terrible. It comes, one of the most frequently asked questions is how cold is it? I don't know if I can stand the cold. We get about a week of snow, and then most other snowfalls that come are about a quarter inch and melt by 2 o'clock. That's a kind of a stereotypical winter. There are definitely are winters where it's been different than that, for the less and for the better. Who's there? Says I have relatives who live in Star, and yeah, they said it's so hot. Shake my head, and they have a lot of snow this winter. I don't think we had a lot of snow. We had a week after we had what I just described was this past winter. We had a week of snow after Christmas, like January 26th through like the 3rd of January, and we didn't have a ton of. Um, we just didn't have a ton. It snowed. In fact, it snowed a lot the first day, and it just never got above freezing. By the snow stayed around, and we had about 6 or 8 more snowfalls that all were melted by 2 o'clock. But yeah, it has been a hot summer on record. In fact, I just saw a screenshot from a friend of mine who's a realtor as well, and they said how there's like different cities around the nation who've had the hottest summer ever recorded for their cities, and Boise was one of them. So the Boise Valley. All right, number 5. Let's get number 5 up. All right. How is the medical care and facilities? Um, let's see here. Okay. So I had this one. I chose this one last night because of the the different experience people have. So Bird Asset and Sarah says terrible. It takes months to find a provider in the Treasure Valley. I mean, months to find a provider. I'm sorry, I'm super uncomfortable right now. Speaking of medical care, um, I respond to my comment. I just tore my leg today, so this was June 7th. In my knee, I showed up at the doc at 8 o'clock a.m. Home by 10. I'd seen the doc. I had an MRI scheduled for the next day. I had my meds in hand, and I was already home. There's a couple different healthcare systems. St. Al's and St. Luke's are definitely. If you go the traditional route and you go to the emergency room is just like any other emergency room, right? Where you're going to be waiting for you'd be waiting in your emergency. There's a couple other places you can go that receive a little bit more direct care, and that's where I went. And so I found my doc, my physical therapy, all that through that, and it's been great. I've loved going through that. So medical care and facilities. Although there's St. Luke's downtown, there's St. Al's downtown, there's St. Luke's in Eagle, there's St. Al's in Eagle as well. There is St. Luke's at Nampa exit. Let's get the camera back on me. And there's another hospital out in Caldwell. I can't remember the name of that one, but there's and I should know because now I'm out here. And that's might be where we're heading sometimes. But there's a lot of great medical care and facilities. I don't feel like that should be an issue in Idaho, but I think it really depends on the type of person you are too. I don't go to the doctor for every sniffle. I go when it counts, and when it counts, I know where to go, as opposed to just going to I don't just go where all the cats are going, all the sheep are going to the St. Luke's. If it was a bone issue, I go to direct orthopedic care, and that's where I went. So to everyone they have different preferences. Jean says she's having some connection issues. Yes, Tyler Grange, old neighbor, Idaho Solar. For you guys who moved to Idaho, this is a good plug for Tyler. Tyler's always so great. He hops on my lives a ton. Tyler owns Idaho Solar. He started 2 or 3 years ago, and I think he's Idaho's largest solar installer. They are awesome. If you're looking at solar, he is your man. And yes, this is a new office. Basically the same as last office, except for there's a green wall. But yeah, thanks for checking in, Tyler. And Tyler, if you have anyone come in, even though we're not allowed to receive those backdoor deals, which we can't, so totally ingest. I'll be looking forward to when people come to you from California. If they say they saw this plug on my YouTube live, then this one's for you, Tyler. You can cash in that check for some solar. Tyler's very passionate about solar, though. Getting people. In fact, let me give a quick little plug before we end. I asked him about it. I was like, "Hey, should I get him a new house?" Like, this is basically what we do. We have an awesome lender. They match your payment, and then you're basically paying towards an asset, owning your power, as opposed to paying the Idaho bill. It's not power is not terrible in Idaho. He'll tell you that too. He's an honest guy, but but it's whether you want to own your electricity or pay rent on that to the every month to use your electricity from Idaho Power.
There's one of the largest groups here, but they are now a nationwide company. So we are truly Idaho's largest solar company. Cool. There you go. Good plug. All right, guys. Any other questions before we head out? I think that was the last. Gene, we might have had a bonus. I see you're having connection issues, so we might not get that bonus up. If we don't have a bonus, that's fine. Any other questions or comments before we leave? Talking about the market, talking about these top 5, talking about content you want to see, talking about interviews you want to see. Like speaking of Tyler, like local business, are there local business owners or people you'd want to have on with this streaming service that has like this ticker going across the bottom? Like you guys, like this something I can actually have interview guests on, so I can interview people from all over Idaho, all over Boise. I don't have to have them with me. I had a lender on once, which got a ton of great reviews. If there are suggestions for who I should have on, would you leave that comment in the comment section, whether you're watching live or not? That's probably a very, very important question, because it's going to give you guys what you want. Would love to know what's going to benefit you guys the most. Who would you guys like to have on? People like local business owners, like the Tyler Granges here that have hopped on. Would you like to have lenders on again? Would you like to have school's hard. School's hard as a real estate agent. Not allowed to talk much about schools, so but maybe I could. Who would you want to have on? Who's there? I'm just surprised so many homes are still being built in Meridian. Will there be renters, you think? The demand is still there. There was a lot of builders took a little bit of a moratorium in the last few months. So there's not as much being built right now as there was. I talked to one developer who is under the belief that we're underbuilding right now, because what we saw was a moratorium. Some of the biggest names we have in Boise's building industry took the time off. And so he thinks in January, February, March, we're going to see a lull of inventory, which is going to do what to the resale homes? Because they're going to still be there. It's going to spike their value. He thinks, but it makes sense. And when he said it, I was like, genius, yes. And because of that, he's putting homes in the ground when everyone else is pulling back. Could he get burned? Sure. Could he strike it rich? Of course. So anyway, that's it's interesting to see more homes being built, but yes, their demand is high. I tell you, like the barometer, if you're here for the first, the barometer I have on the market is people calling and texting and emailing for trying to get here. And if you are trying to get here, call, text, email. My number is 208-213-2092, or email me at brian@brianhymus.com. Obviously, I'm not only happy to help, I'm honored and tickled pink, as my grandpa would say, to help. Would love to help Idaho become your reality. Idaho is really, obviously, you guys, I'm just a help to get you to Idaho. And Idaho, I mean, my wife and I were watching a video in Idaho the other day, and it was just like, holy cow, there's so much in our backyard. The Sawtooth, eastern Idaho with the skiing over there in the Wyoming-Idaho border. Jackson's really close. It's in Wyoming, but it's, Victor Driggs in that eastern Idaho area. West Yellowstone is Wyoming, but Island Park is Idaho. So beautiful. McCall is Idaho. Frank Church Wilderness, No Return is Idaho. There's a stretch of it's a 5-day rafting trip you can do in the middle of Idaho that's untouched, uncharted. There's no roads. It's all rafts that go in there. It's the only people who go in there. The Lost Rivers, the Arco, INEL, the Bruno Sand Dunes, the St. Anthony Sand Dunes, Lake Pend Oreille, Lake Coeur d'Alene. Idaho is so beautiful. There's so much to see. If Idaho's your dream, let me help your dreams to Idaho come true. Just leave California in California, which is most of what you're doing, and would love to help you make Idaho your reality. 208-213-2092. Call, text, and if you need emails from me, an email. And we will get you set up on the easy 1, 2, 3 buying process. It is honestly a dream, guys. It's a call, it's a Zoom call, then it's a visit to Boise, and we are, by that time, we are 100% on the same page, and I reduce your buying time and your fatigue and the strain that is on buying. Like, buying's fun until you do it for 72 days in a row and you're just burnt out. The whole idea behind what I do with this 1, 2, 3 easy buying process is get it so we put the blinders on and really only look at what we have. I have a buyer right now. I doubt she's on because she's didn't find me via YouTube. She found me because of her niece and nephew who found me on YouTube. And we're not putting the blinders on. Her budget's one thing, and she keeps sending me homes that are more than that budget. It's going to be hard for her to nail down the home when she wants to buy outside of her budget. That, or she needs to change her budget. She's pretty proof of that. And so the whole point is helping buyers see, okay, if your budget's 700, but you keep sending me $800,000 homes, we have a gap. You've got to ask yourself, what are you really going to pay? And in this market, you might be able to get about a 750 home for 700, maybe if it's been on for a few months. First day out of the market, probably not. But anyway, you've got to ask yourself some real questions, and that's what the whole process, 1, 2, 3 buying process is for. Is for people like you to really narrow down and hone in on what you want, so you don't get fatigued and so you make the home buying process super fun the whole time. So, guys, it's been fun. No more questions, no more bonuses. Again, if you want, whoever you want to see on next time, please put in your plug for who you'd like to see interviewed on the next live, and we will do so. Until next time, guys, next video coming out, or the next live. In fact, the next video is coming out is the Star Driving Tour, so pay attention. That is coming up, and we'll see you next time on the live. It's 2 weeks from today, Tuesday at 6 o'clock Pacific time. I will see you there. We will be right here in this home office from Idaho, streaming your future dream state. So we'll see you guys later, and thanks for everyone